She wrapped her arms around me. I wished I could stay like this forever. My mother whispered, "My sweetheart, I am doing this because I love you." I begged her one more time. "Please, Mother, don't send us away. I want to stay here with you. Please, Mother." She gently pulled herself away and said, "I want to look at you, my sweetheart." She held my face. "Let's make a promise to each other," she said in a soft, breaking voice, the silent tears rolling down her cheeks. "Let's make a promise that we will always be like this wherever we are." She wove her fingers between mine and bowed her head to kiss my hand. The smugglers made their final call for our departure. I hugged my mother and her oil lamp fell to the ground, lighting her red shoes in the darkening night. As the camels started walking, I looked up at her face. I wanted to see it for the last time, but the light at her feet died slowly, and my mother disappeared from view. Part 1. The Black and White Movie. The evening of the second Friday in July was an evening of departures. It was 1989, and Jeddah was about to be abandoned by all of those who could afford a holiday. I had left my window open to let the humid breeze into my room. I breathed in the spicy kebza meat mixed with the spice of men's cologne, the smells of the day turning into night. The phone was ringing. After 6 rings, I picked up. It was Yasim. He wanted me to come to the cafe to say goodbye. He was off to Paris the following day. He regularly travelled abroad and always came back from his trips with presents. He claimed they would encourage sensuality in those he loved. He also said that I needed to collect the latest of my letters to my mother. I had tried many times to send letters home, but they were always returned to sender. I had used Yasim's cafe as my return address ever since I had known him. At that time, I lived in a tiny flat in a small 2-story building. It was all I could afford, given that I was earning just 400 rials a month at the carwash. The flat was at the poor end of a long street that swelled at the middle, like a man with a big belly and long, thin legs. At the roundabout, it was surrounded by shops and restaurants, before it stretched thin again all the way to Quarantina. By day, its rows of white-painted buildings glistened under the sun, and men in white thobes outnumbered women in black abayas. The scene made you feel like you were in an old black and white movie. I walked past the villas, where the breeze had turned the garden trees into slow-moving ballerinas. Peering down Al-Nuzla Street, I could see the tallest building of our neighborhood. It stood out because of its 9 floors and was well known for the rich people who lived in it. In front of me, on the pavement, 2 young men were strolling, holding each other's hands. They made their way into the Yemeni shop. A few moments later, I stopped to let a man past, dressed in jalabiyah and tajiyah, and carrying a box full of plastic Pepsi bottles. I tucked my t-shirt into my tracksuit and continued. The fragrance of musk filled my nostrils. It meant I was getting close to the biggest mosque in the neighborhood. At one time, I had been living with my uncle right next to the mosque. My new home was a few blocks away in the same street, but this mosque was still the nearest. I saw a group of 6 bearded men standing outside. They stood so close to each other that they looked like they were joined at the hips and shoulders. They stepped aside to give way to the blind imam, who was leaving the mosque. It was because of him that I no longer attended prayers. He was clutching the arm of a tall man who was holding a black leather bag. Their long beards quivered softly in the wind. I quickly crossed the road and bowed my head as I started to walk in the opposite direction to where they were heading. Then suddenly, a familiar jeep with shaded windows swerved towards me and screeched to a halt. I froze. Religious police. I wanted to run, but my legs felt heavy. 3 bearded men jumped out and came towards me. I couldn't move an inch, but they